I got 7 o'clock right in time, on board meeting for June 28th. First thing on the agenda, we do have a continuation of a public hearing for the powers and Senate zoning project. Michelle, do you have that?
No,
So I have to read it.
continuation.
Okay. All right, so it is a continuation. At this time, we'll take any public comments. We'll have the engineer Ryan give a brief description first, and then we'll take public comment. Thank you.
Good evening, Ryan Destro, being the Associates, here tonight with Rob Brenner and Brian Mahoney from Canandaigua Development Company LLC. I just wanted to give a quick recap of recent events. Obviously, for town board input, we made a few substantial changes to this project. One being that we increased the lot width from 70 feet to 80 feet for all the lots within the residential component of this project. That has resulted in a loss of 30 lots. Excuse me. It's gone from 216 to 186 lots for this property. The rear setback, excuse me. The rear setback has been increased from 10 feet to 30 feet. And the side setbacks to increase from 10 feet on both sides to, excuse me. Get some water real quick. Yeah, sure. 1 second.
Your cups right there.
Sorry about that. The side setbacks, we've increased from 10 feet on both sides to 10 and 15 feet for a 25-foot combined side setback. The other thing that we've also done on the concept plan, we did have it as a listed as a proposed pedestrian pathway through the open space B in the northern portion of the project. That has since been switched to a concrete sidewalk. So that results in a approximately a quarter mile of sidewalk in this area. Another benefit to the town. On May 17th, we did appear before the planning board. The planning board did recommend at that meeting that the town board proceed with the rezoning for this project. The planning board resolution also stated that the updated incentive zoning concept plan will have a positive impact on this project and therefore the town of Farmington as well. We also, excuse me, we also appeared before the county planning board on June 14th, and at that meeting, that board voted unanimously in support of the proposed incentive rezoning for this project. Obviously, we'd like to thank the town board for all of your input throughout this process. We do appreciate that. We are looking forward to transitioning to the site plan and design for this project. And with that being said, we're happy to answer any of your questions at this time.
Board, any questions? Staff, any comments? We did have input from the highway superintendent over the last 2 weeks, and he really didn't want that one trail going to the north from the subdivision to be stone. So work with the developer on that to turn that into a concrete sidewalk going north to that way. Any comments from the public? Yeah.
Yeah, Al Adams Piper. As one of the vanishingly small percentage of residents of this town that make their living in agriculture, I have to express my dismay at this conversion of active to the farm and into development. I actually made a call to the town this morning just to ask, does this proposal conform with comprehensive plan? And of course, I was assured, oh yeah. When you look at the plan, you see that the future use map in that plan, this land was envisioned to still be farmed. It's also included in the Strategic Farmland Protection Act. And it's been an ag district. All of this to no avail. Here's this land is going to be converted in spite of those supposed protections. The vehicle that seems to be driving this is this new tool called incentive zoning, and I do sort of have a question. Having seen the supposed amenities that are included in this proposal, it strikes me that all of those amenities are really just features to facilitate getting this project done. Sidewalks and such, improve now, that sort of thing. That's my impression, correctly, if I'm wrong. I'm struggling to find the larger community benefit of this proposal as it's being proposed as incentive zoning. My question to the board would be, why are we zoning if every time a development proposal comes along, we now set aside the existing zoning, rezone it as an incentive zone, which strikes me as an outsider as just being a one-off deal to get a project done. The guidance clearly you've already changed once, so the guidance for this is pretty loose once it's designated incentive zoning. So I'd love to hear from anyone on the board what their philosophy is, that this tool is being used more and more in development projects through the town. Is this the future? That enlighten me.
Well, we correct in one thing, ag exemption. The property that was owned by, there's two pieces of parcels here. One was owned by the police, one was owned by the powers family. The police property has not been in the ag exemption for years.
Well, I said in the ag district, not, I actually didn't say,
So
I don't know who was getting an ag exemption.
Yeah,
That I don't know.
Right, so
Not forget that.
that was not, the police one has not been in the ag exemption portion. This parcel's not zoned ag, it's zoned GI industrial and RS 25, RS 25. So part of it could have been,
But yet it was in the strategic farmland protection area. So
but it's,
we have an issue there with not being consistent.
I can't answer to the farmland protection portion of it, maybe Ron can, but I'm just telling you what it's zoned. It's zoned for homes and general industrial or light industry. Do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, Hal is referring to the strategic map there that's part of the adopted farmland protection plan. And one of the things that I've been trying to accomplish with the Ag Advisory Board is taking a hard, serious look at some land use regulations that other communities have adopted and found to be very protective of their ag lands. Yet to date, no effort has come forth from that committee. So it's kind
Well,
of,
to be fair, it is.
I have the floor, please.
We are working towards that consideration. Right?
You have been for the past 3 years.
Well, and
Okay. So, the issue here is the incentive zoning has benefited the town by saving the taxpayers in this town millions of dollars to improve utilities, distribution systems, highways, trails, networks, things that have created the sense of community here that we now have and enjoy. This area is identified in the adopted comprehensive plan to be evaluated as the continued use for limited industrial no longer makes sense now that sewers and water improvements are in the area. So there is a clear benefit to the community associated with the incentive zoning approach. That's why the state legislature created it. And we have been following it for the benefit of development here in the community.
So there's any subdivision that the planning board approves, whether it's incentive zoning or not. There's always street lights at intersections, there's sidewalks, water and sewer, and the road are put in by the developer. No cost to the town installation. An incentive zoning project such as this one being proposed, the developer is giving us $150,000 towards $50,000 towards a sewer study that we need for pump station 1 by Fingerless Gaming Racetrack. And they're giving us $100,000 towards a future sewer project that we know is coming down the pike and that we've had an application in for grant funding. And then the balance of the cash and the determined on the incentive zoning that we worked out with the staff and the town board is to go towards future sidewalks in the town to connect the areas that are not connected now. So that's over and above whatever the developer has to put in for those 186 homes, sites, and the drainage and all that stuff.
Yeah, do you want me to add, Pete?
No.
Just, yeah. The sewer capacity issue too, addresses an issue that we have with DEC right now, which is a townwide issue and really, most of this is in Victor collection system, but there are a couple bottlenecks in the sewer in the town of Farmington. And 100,000 of that money will go towards alleviating some of those bottlenecks. So.
Right. It would be part of our down payment for the cost of the project.
The only thing I would say now too is a lot of times we're using this incentive zoning when zoning districts overlap property lines. So it's already zoned for residential purposes. So we're not changing something drastic, but instead of the way the exact lines where the general business and the residential are, but instead of doing different rezonings, this is a way to kind of lump the project as a whole, I guess.
I think we had a concept at one point about what it could have been developed as under the current set of zoning, and it was like a small scale industrial park with a residential aspect behind it, which again, they would have had every right to do so during the existing incentives, and the existing zoning, I don't think anybody in the town would want that.
And then along the current plan, the frontage along 96 still stays in the commercial capacities. Right?
Yeah, and for the town board's reference, citing the town's comprehensive plan and how this project meets the goals of the comprehensive plan. One section specifically refers to this property. And to quote, the town may want to consider rezoning the area east of Fairdale to a residential use, which would be more consistent with the existing land use pattern. And we've covered in previous meetings how this project is comparable to the lands to the west as well. And now with the recent changes, we're even greater in lot size than the comparable lands to the west. Hickory Rise is basically the same as R110. There's also additional R110 lands, and then the Fairdale Glen Town Home Development too. And this has substantially larger lots than this. Now we're also increasing the width to 80-foot wide lots if requested.
Could I just add two things? For the record, Robert Brenner with the Canandaigua Development Company, just to respond to the speaker's question. You know, I want to give the town board and staff some credit, sir, because you weren't here for all of the meetings. We've been at this for about 2.5 years. We came in with a proposal that was twice as dense as what's in front of you tonight, and the incentive zoning process actually, you know, while it's a helpful tool for developers, it acted to our detriment, right? Because when the town right-sized the project, so to speak, we've got half of the density that we thought would have been consistent with other projects that are approved in the vicinity. The other thing to share is, you know, I appreciate what you said about the farmland protection program, right? But at the end of the day, it's privately held land. It's light industrial zoning for the first 70 to 75% of the property off of 96. We don't intend to farm it. I did a favor to Bob Bo. He wasn't going to farm it this year. I allowed him to farm it this year because he's a family friend, and he ordered seed and another deal was pulled out from underneath him. But our intention is not to have the property farmed. And when we talk about why did we start this journey and why did the town start this journey, the town's charge and Ron's office's charge is to figure out compatible land use patterns throughout town, right? And when we first approached the town, they correctly identified that 50 or 60 acres of asphalt paving on this site would be incompatible with what's happening in that corridor, right? And what they want to see happen in that corridor. We could come in with an as-of-right plan tomorrow and have an Amazon warehouse, for example, and they could have thousands and thousands of trucks, provided the DOT would approve that traffic volume in this location. And there's not a thing that the town can say about it. They could talk about landscaping and lighting and hours of operation during the site plan process, but the town couldn't weigh in and say, hey, you can't have an Amazon delivery warehouse there. So this is actually, in our view, and I think in the town board's view, a much more compatible project with farming operations and ag operations. It's not a farming use, but I just wanted to give that background about what we've been doing for the past 2.5 years, because we've had a lot of meetings. We've talked about this at length, and the alternative is not a cornfield. The alternative is 60 acres of asphalt.
Thank you. Ryan, anything else? Or?
No,
All right, thank you very much.
thank you.
Any other further comments from the people in the room here? Anybody online? Questions or comments? One more time, anybody online? Question or comments? No more, anything? All right, close the public hearing. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't meet with this guy ahead of time, but we're at this point, we're going to do the pledge of allegiance, and you lead us, please.
Oh, Scott, not in uniform, please put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jeff. We do have a full town board tonight. Next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes for June 13th and special meeting and on June 20th.
Second.
Move by Mike, second by Steve. Comments, corrections? Here again, we're excused the 20th. Yep. All in favor? Aye. Privilege of the floor or public concerns? Any other privilege of the floor or public concerns? Board Standing Committee, Public Works.
Yeah, Public Works, met yesterday in our normal office in the other room. We got our updates from water and sewer and highway and park. I'll start with water and sewer. Digester 1 is now pretty much done, other than a gasket that needs to be replaced. The UV system is operational. We talked about, some parts that we're gonna need for the future. The aerator will be in July 28th. The sludge the upgrade project, for the sludge pumps, the timer controls have been installed and they are functional. Flow meters has been out in manhole, 2749. And they did, we did some testing, with the, bulk testing on Doe Haven. And it did some video sanitary sewer lines on Fallow Lane. They repaired some electrical service in Nettle Creek Fault. Pump station, okay, we don't need to talk about that, we've done that already. PS7 is in service, paving is done, we're just waiting on the generator. Everything, Town Line Road has been held off till August. That's all we got to talk about there. Highway and Parks. Ongoing maintenance, equipment maintenance, mowing the roadsides at 332 and here at the town park. The trucks have been out for the assisting Victor. They're still working on Fallow Lane, the gutters are now completed. They're sweeping up the chip seal on the roads, they put chips down. The detour signs have been put up and installed on Klein and Brownsville Road. And they did a patch on a road crossing on Elizabeth Way and Holland Drive. The parks are doing maintenance, mowing, striping ball fields, tennis and basketball courts are done in Retention Park and painting crosswalks. And the parking area at the Grange is now completed. I think that's that, Peter.
Great, thanks. Town operations.
Then, same morning yesterday, we have 2 resolutions tonight, we have the July 3rd fireworks, coming up and permits for food trucks, have an issue. The town staff met with, new developers and their engineers, they're proposing a new project located on a former water park site in State Route 332 and County Road 41, so that'll be a new project coming forward. TAP sidewalk grant proceedings, everything's on schedule with that. The other night Monday night, we had a full complement of members for the Environmental Conservation Board. They had their first meeting, and that's a good sign, and we have a lot of people interested in that. Ronald have been further information, Dan will add to it, that's all I have.
Thanks, Mike. Reports of other town officials, supervisor. Yesterday, I attended a retirement send-off for Sherman Manchester. He's been 19 years at the Ontario County as the #1 safety person. Everybody in the county knows from the classes he's given over the years. Today we had the North Road reconstruction meeting for a water line. That's actually in the town of Canandaigua, but it's part of the Canandaigua Farmington Water District. The contractor will be ready to start in 2 to 3 weeks. I also attended a short meeting today with Supervisor Simpson from Canandaigua and Supervisor Phillips from Manchester, getting more information on the Ontario County Humane Society progress for their new major capital plan on property that they purchased last year on Yerkes Road. If you haven't already looked and seen it, the newsletter is out now to our residents and our businesses. For water bills, water sewer bills are in the mail. And it's a new format, and people are going to be able to sign up to get their bills electronically, view their account, and there are very many options on ways you can pay your water and sewer bill. 2024 budget season already. The department heads got their 5-year capital plans to review and return it to us here in July. And either Friday or Monday, I'll have the 2024 budget guidance out for all the departments. And that's all I have. Highway Parks.
Not really much more to add from Ron, just a little more update on follow. We've been working real hard to get that all ready and set. It is scheduled to be paved on July 17th, so long as everything holds true. Everybody else is done with the weather. I haven't heard that it's behind, but we've been concentrating on that. Maybe our mowing's gotten a little behind, our mower did break. So we're a little behind on mowing, but we're starting to get caught up on that. But so the paving will be going on that in the week of July 17th. Last week, the 2023 Ford pickup truck that I ordered for 2023 actually came in.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a record.
I still haven't got the two of the ones from 2022, but they're close to being done. They are here. They told me the body came in, so those should be arriving soon. I'm expecting probably by the end of July should have. Oh, yeah.
Water and sewer, still waiting on a vehicle we ordered in 2020.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I don't have anything.
Water and sewer.
As board member Herendeen mentioned, we have an aerator, basin aerator in order that was expected at the end of July. It actually showed up today. So that was a surprise. And as Supervisor Inglesby mentioned, you will now be able to sign up for accounts with our new billing system, and you'll be able to monitor your water use through MuniLink account and also your usage through a program that Beacon has, and it's called Ion Water, EYEONWATER. So that information should be available to you on our website.
Some of it's in the buildings on. Building and zoning.
Yeah, we've been working with Recreation and Highway and Parks for July 3rd, making sure everything's gonna be ready. And that we're ready for setup on Monday. Also glad to announce the third round of scanning, which is for the water and sewer, and to start our assessors department to scan all their files. We were awarded again this year to continue that process. And tomorrow is delivery of the coach truck. So as Tim said, these trucks are starting to come in. So
Great, very good. Planning board.
Yes, we have a meeting coming up July 5th. There are two basic items on there. There's a preliminary site plan for the erection of a single-story family residence on Yellow Mills. And then a final site plan amendment to the Rochester Gas and Electric to reconfigure and make larger their total yard. So they're doing that. So we'll see that. And then we've got a letter of credit, and that's pretty much it.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
Ron, Director of Planning and Development.
As the town board was designated lead agency at their last meeting for the speaker for the public hearing subjects tonight. Parts 2 and 3 have been prepared, submitted along with the updated local law, a determination of significance resolution, and a resolution to approve with conditions was also prepared. The TAP grant, we're now starting to look hard at the cost estimates, because between the time we submitted the grant application and today, the cost of concrete's gone up just a little bit. Tongue in cheek. And the other thing is, we're zeroing in on completing all of the articles for Chapter 9, the duties and responsibilities of all the boards and committees, and that'll be coming to the town board here this summer for public hearing and adoption. Other than that, zoning board resolutions and planning board resolutions continue to take some of the time. That's it.
Great, thanks.
So the report for town ops has been posted on the website.
Great, thank you. Bill, town engineer.
Yes, thank you. Resolution on to award the pavilion project, so we'll soon be starting that. We are currently applying for a WIA grant, once again, for the sewer capacity issue that we talked about, so. Two pieces of a project there that will help with the sewer capacity and some of our DEC concerns. GIGP grant as well that we're applying for to help assist the town with water meter replacement. So fingers crossed on those two applications. They'll be due at the end of July. Thank you for the staff working on all those applications with us. Design, we're working on Brickyard Road Tank and County Road 8 water. Pre-con was held today for North Road Water Main Replacement Project, so that should start in a couple weeks. And then we are closing out tonight Beaver Creek Park as well as 332 and Route 96 intersection water main replacement, with the exception of a small final payment once we have grass growing in some of the restoration areas. So lots going on right now.
And I know we've spoken about the cost at 332 and 96, but it was like $1.1 million to put in a water line east and west underneath 332 and north and south underneath 96.
Yep.
Had to do it.
Rock drill both directions, so.
Both directions.
We're lucky to have rock not too far underground, so.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Donna, our assistant, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Did you have a report for us?
I do have a report and I'm so thankful after all the bumps we had, and you know how many bumps we had along the way. One of the best emails I ever received was from the state saying we get 100% equalization. And you know, at one point, if we were ever gonna get there. I will say though, that sales are still, it's very, very strong. All the sales we've put in since March 1st are pretty much over even the assessments we just did. So people are probably expecting a decrease. I don't see it coming. But I want this board to know chances are next year we're not gonna be at 100. There's really nothing else we can do with these sales. The assessed value increase from 22 to 23 was for all role sections. That includes telecommunication, special franchises, role section 1 taxable, fully exempt 392 million. The Board of Assessment Review did a great job. Never forget the pool house in Stonefield. It was 3 full days worth of grievances. And one day they had to deliberate. Prior to that, we did 213 stipulations that totaled 11.5 million. Some of those were commercial. That was a good portion of the rest were individual lots. 140, even with after the 213 stipulations, the board had 147 grievance applications. 83 of them were lowered for a decrease of 4 million. I just want to thank everyone for their support. We couldn't have done it without the board, without everyone's help. And the next one will go much smoother right now. This was a nightmare. I was working at midnight. So I'm thankful for the support that everyone has given us. Happy that we're at 100. Don't think we're going to be there next year. But with the board's approval, I'd like to do it again in 25. So we don't have, and my house was a $1,000 increase. I don't want to see that again. So I'd like to do it again in 25.
So across the board, with what percent?
40 to 45. Some neighborhoods went up 50, some went up 35, 40, but 40 to 45% was the increase. I don't want to see that happen again. And that was partially because of the 40 years, but partially because Farmington is the place to be. A lot of people are coming here from the rural county, realizing how convenient it is, and they can't afford the $1 million house in Victor, and here they like the Victor school, they like the Canandaigua school, can't afford some of those houses. Farmington's perfect, and a lot of people from rural county are coming over. That's the vast majority of what was.
Right, and then also, your assessor assistant, Paula did a fantastic job prior to you coming on board.
She did a great job. She did amazing. All the people, if it wasn't for her, I mean, she was the glue that was keeping it all together. When I was at the county, she was kind of keeping everything. She was the glue. Yeah, so I'm very appreciative of her also. She did a great job.
Edwards,
That's exactly what I was gonna say, that the reason we did what we did and how we did it. Don had just gotten back, Paula did all that other work and she did a phenomenal job. She was always ready, she got all our stuff ready, everything, I gotta tell you, she was amazing, so. I just wanted to make sure she got her due, that she did a phenomenal. In my opinion.
I agree.
the board realizes all the work she did.
It was, couldn't have done it without her, but it was a full team effort.
Great, thank you. Good report. And recreation, this is the first week of recreation and Mark reported to us that Monday and Tuesday, we had approximately 225 kids in attendance for both those days, not so much today. I mean, the weather alert with the smoke and the drizzle we got here all day, the attendance was down. Communications are on file. Reports and minutes are on file. And next we'll do the resolution. First resolution, authorizing the state environmental quality review classification of proposed action identified as 2023 Town of Farmington Green Innovation Grant Program, GIGP, water efficiency application for water meter upgrades.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Mike. Is, Bill had mentioned, this is one of 3 grants we're working on. A lot of our water meters are over 10 years old. And as well as the sending units. And it's very expensive to replace them. We put, $60,000 a year in the budget for meters. And because we're doing 100 new homes here. It's that many meters that we can't put in replace residential houses. We're having a very hard time getting shipments from our distributor right now, just to keep up with the new homes. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2 is authorizing the transfer of funds from the park plan reserve account once the permissive referendum period is complete.
Second.
Motion by Nate, second by Ron, and this is a budgeted item. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3 is a resolution award the bid for the town park pavilion right down the road here. The Loyal 9 development and cost not to exceed $229,920.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Nate. And again, we put down the pavilion and we have to remove the concrete. This is the pavement that's there and that ordered almost $30,000 just to put a new pavilion on. Some electrical conduit. Nothing's cheap. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Where's the resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a certificate of substantial completion for the site work at Beaver Creek Park, including the final payment to MRI.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Steve. Again, if you haven't been to Beaver Creek Park, it's off from Amber Drive in Michigan. Stop out there and see it. We got $2 million in that park. 2 large soccer lacrosse fields, baseball, softball field. Fairly good sized pavilion, plenty of walking trails, parking for the games or somebody renting the pavilion and a bathroom. And on the other end of it is a maintenance area for the parks equipment to put their stuff in. And there's basketball, tennis courts. They got it all down. Playground, yeah, two playgrounds. All in favor?
Aye.
Item resolution approving a change order GCO one for Waxer Pipeline Contractors for the Route 30, 32 and 96 replacement.
So moved.
Motion by Nate, second by Ron, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is a resolution operating completion of a probationary period for water and sewer employee Merrick Badger with a 50 cent per hour wage increase effective July 9th, 2023. So second. Motion by Mike, second by Ron. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's sorry. Steve second that, yes. Seven, resolution authorizing Team Ford and Kennedy 2023 Fall Highway Conference, sponsored by New York State Association of Towns and Highway Superintendents. And it's in Verona, New York in September. Cost not to exceed $1,500.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Nate. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Marine resolution authorizing the water superintendent to purchase replacement parts for the UV system of Trojan Technologies and cost not to exceed $15,000. So moved. Second. Which my Steve, second by Mike. And it also moves $6,500 from one account in the sewer to the other. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nice, confirming resolution authorizing the water and sewer superintendent to purchase one rotating element for pump station 17 in Victor at a cost not to exceed $3,765.81. So,
Second.
Mike, second by Nate, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution accepting parts 2 and 3 of the amending old environmental assessment forms and making findings and determinations of non-significance on the provision of state environmental quality review regulations for the rezoning of land. Tax map account numbers 29.00-02-13.1, 52.5 acres. And 29.00-02-14.0, 93.3 acres from RS 25 residential suburban and LI limited industrial with major thoroughfare overlay district to incentive zoning with major thoroughfare overlay district for the powers incentive zoning project. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Nate, second by Mike. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 11 is resolution adopting local law number 2 of 2023, authorizing amendment of the council official zoning map for rezoning of land tax map account number 29.00-02-13.1, 52.5 acres, and 29.00-02-14.0, 93.3 acres from RS 25 residential suburban and LI limited industrial for the MTOD major thoroughfare overlay district to incentive zoning with the major thoroughfare overlay district for the powers incentive zoning project. Adoption of the incentive zoning development criteria for the said project and acceptance of amenities with conditions for said project.
So moved.
Motion by Nate, second by Mike. Comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. Number 12 is a roll call vote for resolution accepting storm sewer and utility easements for a safe place storage LLC. So that. Mike, second by Ron. And questions? Roll call vote.
Supervisor Ingoldsby,
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman.
Aye.
Councilman Herendeen.
Aye.
Councilman Casale.
Aye.
Councilman Holtz.
And also we'll need the highway superintendent's signature for that. For the section of road dedication. Resolution in support and authorization of town of Farmington 2023 New York State Consolidated Funding Application Green Innovation Grant Program for Water Efficiency.
Second.
Motion by Nate, or motion by Steve, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 14 is a resolution support authorization of clean water grant application through the New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Act.
Second.
Motion by Nate, second by Ron. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. 15 is a resolution authorizing changes to the highway appointments for 2023. So. Motion by Knight, Mike, second by Steve. We have a team leader that's retired, so we have running Jason Phillips. As the team leader. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Uh, 16 is the abstract number 12 of 2023 to pay bills. General fund, $226,143.37. Highway fund, $219,302.71. Beaver Creek Park, $5,000. County Road 8 water line, $5,350. Route 332 Main water line, $66,534.11. Sidewalk capital project, $210. North Road capital project, $4,200. Elm Park improvements, $3,320. Water tank repair, $3,990. Storm drainage, $6,584.05. Lighting district, $1,261.13. Sewer district, $79,110.63. Water district, $54,382.40. Payroll deductions, $8,034.09. Report abstract, $683,422.49. Motion, please. Motion by Steve, second by Ron. Any comments, questions, abstentions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Training for $100 for the superintendent David Company. Is it there? We do have one discussion item and a request to waive a late fee at 1325 East Victor Road. It is an apartment complex. And they got the bills. They just didn't pay them in time. And they wrote me an email asking that late fees be considered removed from the bill. Yeah. Yeah, so this goes back to a bill that was due in January, and we pay it to February 6th. Late fee shows on the. It's even. Let's go to the letter back. Right. And anything else that we brought? Anything from the scout tonight? No. From 60, right? Was the treasurer there for many years and committee chair. My son's an Eagle Scout from there. Very, very popular troop in Victor. Yes, it is. Back when the days when we actually went and cut Christmas trees for the fundraiser. I was in the Army National Guard and we had pretty vehicles that on the postcards so that we would get the trees for us. Able to do that back in the days. You probably can't. Anything else? I'll take a motion for adjournment. So, motion by Mike, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.